lot of nuts!
I do not believe in being advertised to. No, sir, no advertisements on my watch. You know, I had an uncle once who saw an advertisement on TV. 45 years later, boom, lung cancer. And you can't tell me that they're not related. That's why when I watch YouTube videos, I make sure to go the extra mile to not be advertised to. I install an ad block. I use sponsor block. I use de-arrow just to make sure the thumbnails don't feel a little bit too attractive. God forbid they convince me to watch a video on the website that I clicked on to watch videos. Boo on them. Now that I've managed to remove all of the advertisements from my life, I can now thoroughly enjoy this meme.
What the fuck? Oh my gosh, what the fuck? I hate it. His face looks first.
What a crazy application that girl's got installed on her iPad. Just to stop her from turning off her alarm and going back to sleep, she's got to get up out of bed and then take a picture of her laptop. What kind of application makes you do all of that? Kind of seems effective. Actually, I do know what application it was, because conveniently, while she was setting off her morning alarm, it mentions the name of the app, Early, or whatever it is. It's featured pretty prominently in that TikTok. I have to imagine that's probably a coincidence. It can't possibly be marketing. I mean, this couldn't have been an ad, obviously. I've got an ad blocker installed. It couldn't be. Anyway, let's take a look at another meme.
Bro, I'm sorry, but I died yesterday. I didn't suffer, and I will look after you. I love you, and thank you for all the love over my years. Woof woof, Cantina.
What another hilarious meme. One that I can enjoy completely advertisement free thanks to my myriad of plugins. Can you believe this girl's mom made an AI generated video of her deceased dog speaking to her as if he was talking to her from beyond the pearly gates? Of course you can. This is a bit from an episode of Nathan For You from like a decade ago, but hey, TikTok's always a little bit late to the joke. I wonder what application she used to make that video. Is it something that I could download using the link in her bio? Of course I can. In fact, her entire profile is just a bunch of these videos showcasing this exact same application that happens to mention the name of it right at the end of the TikTok. I'm starting to think this isn't a coincidence. Undisclosed advertisements, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I can't say, ladies and gentlemen, because you guys won't be able to tell me apart from the other brown YouTuber who makes videos at this angle. Undisclosed advertisements, hyenas, that's what we're talking about today. In an era where short form content and vertical content can go incredibly viral for the most minimal amount of effort possible, where a girl reacting and making a face to the taste of kombucha can skyrocket her into a full-fledged social media career, we all need to be a little bit careful at just how easy it is to get videos in front of your face, because as easy as it is to get a viral piece of media in front of millions of people, it is just as easy for a corporation to get their product in front of a piece of media that ends up in front of millions of people. But for the longest amount of time, when it comes to traditional content creation, long form videos, what you're watching right now, advertisements need to be disclosed. Even Instagram videos and Instagram posts that have any sort of sponsor to them require them to use the hashtag ad, hashtag advertisement. When I do a YouTube video, I have a checkbox I gotta tick that says right in the top right corner, hey, this video may feature sponsored or promotional material. The show has to let you know that it is an ad or there is an ad in it, as per FCC guidelines. You cannot make something that is effectively an advertisement to get you to buy something and then pretend that it isn't. But somehow, we have entered into a world of undisclosed advertisements where some content creators have found the ability to go viral by posting rage bait or viral memes or whatever onto TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and other places on the internet, and just in the subtlest way, work in a software, an app, a product that you can buy that they don't tell you about. They don't make too much attention or make a notion to it. There's no link in the description of the video, and God forbid there's no hashtag ad. But somewhere on their profile picture, in the comments, when somebody inevitably asks, hey, what hilarious app was that? What is this? there will be an affiliate link. Here's a viral image that I've seen floating around on Twitter, posted by some big reposting accounts. And it's supposedly a post that was posted to Reddit about an individual who titles it, "Went to my 10-year reunion and realized I peaked at 17, talking about how he went to the reunion for his high school and everybody is doing better than him. And according to the title, it's interesting enough to get you to click, and it's a relatable enough story to get people to read through it. This post on Twitter has 200 comments of people talking about how they've compared themselves to other people in high school, how some people are doing good and some people are doing bad. This isn't real. This isn't a real story at all. It's just the most clickable thing some AI-generated bullshit was able to put together to get you to read 3 relatively real-sounding paragraphs just to get to the end sentence where he says he drove home with his wife, told her she was fine, and then went to bed at 9 o'clock playing Rolling Riches on his phone. Rolling Riches is a virtual slot machine gambling app. The entire point of this viral post is just to get people to hear about this cryptocurrency gambling app on their phone. For them to read through this relatively interesting sounding, almost definitely AI-generated fake bullshit story, to be informed, to get the impression of this application that is trying to get more people to download it. What do you mean? I just read through 4 paragraphs of a story that I thought was just any other viral piece of media that is bumped across my timeline, simply for them to work in a 1-sentence, almost brushed off the shoulder, nonchalant, blink it and you miss it moment advertisement. This thing is a crypto casino along the lines of stake, along the lines of whatever. You know what a crypto casino is, right? Online gambling. All they're doing is mentioning it by name. All they're doing is mentioning it by name. It is almost as if I told you I am drinking a Red Bull, and suddenly you realize that the entire point of the thing that you're doing was so that I could tell you I'm drinking a Red Bull. That's insane! Sumito, you're really gonna tell me about Undisclosed advertisement while wearing an Into the AM shirt while posing in front of your Gamer Supps mini fridge? How is this any different from the way that you make your videos currently? It's way different. First of all, you're an idiot if you're thinking that way. But secondly, this is much more specific. This is much more nefarious than, hey, look at the sponsored stuff I have in the background of what I'm talking about, right? This is an ongoing pandemic. This is a thing that is going on all across the internet, and I worry that not enough people are talking about it. I originally Googled this and pulled up a video by small YouTuber Alana Pinsky, who did a video titled "TikTok's Hidden Ad Problem is Worse Than You Think." And in this video, she showcases a number of different TikTokers who are rage baiting or going viral in one way or another. One video has a girl telling a lengthy story about her man and how he's getting a little bit too close with her female best friend. And the entire point of that video was for, in the middle of this 90-second story, her to mention that her and her man took some spicy cubes while they were at dinner. This is like a Viagra Cialis in a chocolate that you take before bedtime for sexy activities. But that's all she does. Just mentions that she ate one and then goes right back to the story about the drama between her fiance and his female best friend. And you would think, maybe it isn't an advertisement. Maybe she just brought it up. Except this YouTuber, Alana Pinsky, goes into her profile on TikTok and notices that every single one of the videos that she has posted on TikTok casually mentions this exact same product. And while there's no hashtag ad in any of the descriptions, while there's no, links to the spicy chocolate that she's talking about in the descriptions, it is in her bio. If you do click just a couple of times, you will find her affiliate link. She's got another one about this individual who's like making fake TikToks arguing with her boss about remote work. It makes it seem as though she's being microaggressed by her manager. Micromanaged, and he's being rude, and he's doing all of these things, and there's zoom-ins, and she's responding beautifully, professionally. She's talking back to her boss in a way that, like, you wish you could when HR got involved at work. It baits the emotion out of you. It draws on every string of every missed opportunity you had to be smart, snarky, or stand up for yourself when somebody at work was being mean to you. And she plays into it perfectly. And you think, oh my God, this girl is going off. What a girl boss. And it's all fake. There's no real conversation. She's not actually talking back to her boss. She's not threatening to go to HR like we all want her to. The comments don't know that. The comments in every one of these videos are talking about how she did this perfectly. She should go to HR. Oh, she's got a lawsuit on her hands. This entire thing is just an advertisement for the screen recording app that she threatens this manager with. I recorded this whole thing using this application by name, so you're in trouble and I'm going to send this to HR. Is every single video on her profile exactly the same thing, mentioning this exact same app? You bet your sweet bippy it is. Is it linked in her bio? It's linked in her bio. The thing that blows my mind about this is how effective these are at seeming like they're not advertisements for these things. These content creators that are putting these advertisements so subtly into these stories do such a good job of making these viral, rage baity, story time, talky sort of TikToks that get you so invested that you almost forget that they even mentioned the product that they were talking about. Yeah, this girl mentioned that she used a screen recording app, but surely the whole point of this video wasn't to get me to click her bio and download the app for myself. It was this very interesting exchange that she had with her boss where she was so, professional and pushed back on all of the microaggressions that he had. It was beautiful to watch. I enjoyed that piece of content. Therefore, it was more than just a sponsored plug, but it wasn't real. It might have been a recreation of something that happened at work. She didn't actually record the real conversation she had. It was two actors, perhaps just an AI-generated voice on the other side of that video call. In reality, the fact that she's made this exact same TikTok dozens and dozens of times probably proves that this never happened whatsoever and exists solely to tell you about the name of the product. That girl who's talking about her fiance getting a little bit too close with his female best friend probably doesn't have a fiance. None of that probably happened. At the end of the day, it's a TikTok she's recording on her phone. The stakes aren't incredibly high the way that it is for sponsorships on YouTube, where there's contracts, FCC guidelines. I gotta tell you guys if the video is gonna be sponsored way at the beginning and then tell you when the advertisement starts and then mention it at the end, blah, blah, blah. These people can just pretend that they're not advertised whatsoever and just casually leave the link in their bio while telling you a completely bullshit story. It feels a little bit illegal. And it's more than just not feeling like an ad. If the only thing that we had to talk about here was the fact that they are so seamlessly integrating these advertisement sponsorships, that would be one thing. But the fact that there is no disclaimer that there is any sort of sponsorship in these videos is a little bit misleading. Again, at the end of the day, if I make this video and I'm drinking a Red Bull and I happen to be sponsored by Red Bull, much like I am sponsored by this t-shirt and by GamerSups, that would be one thing. But the fact that these videos aren't real, don't exist, like the video I'm making right now has a purpose. It exists to tell you about this phenomena. Every other video that I've made talking about memes has been to try to share something with you. The video would exist whether I was sponsored or not, is my point. But these TikToks that this YouTuber, Alana Pinsky, has pointed out in her video exist solely to mention the sponsorship. They exist numerous times, are duplicated over and over again, not because they have different stories to tell, simply to throw more lottery tickets into the TikTok algorithm to end up in front of your eyes more often, just to try to get more people to click on the link in their description. And you can tell that they're doing a good job at subverting any expectations of these videos being sponsored by the fact that the comments cannot tell whatsoever. The comments are discussing that this girl needs to stand up to her fiance and tell him that he's getting too close with with his female best friend. The comments are talking about how their own man they don't let their man talk to women like that. They don't let women show up to their house unannounced. They don't let their fiance text their female best friend at all hours of the night. They think it's real. They're having genuine conversations, leaving more and more comments with each other as if this was a real premise. And that was the entire bait. That was the whole reason. That's the whole point of them using these controversial, emotional triggering rage bait tactics to get you to think, have an emotional reaction, add comments, like the video, share it with your friend to get their ideas of it, to boost it in the algorithm. None of it's real. everybody who is engaging with it is doing nothing more than just pushing these undisclosed advertisements onto more people's timelines, and it's working beautifully. I saw this video posted on Twitter that was captioned, "When are you two having kids?" And then it goes on to showcase all of these scrapbooks that these two have had of all the travel that they've had around the world. And I saw this video and I thought, wow, that's cool. This would make a great gift for my wife. Every time we go to the beach, every time we take a trip, go to Disneyland and stuff, what if I made a scrapbook to have all of our memories and make it nicely like these guys? My ad block couldn't save me. My ad block couldn't save me. This is an ad. This is an ad. This is not an organic piece of TikTok content that these two lovebirds have made in order to showcase how much they've traveled, even if it does feel a little bit overly consumer. I assume they made these scrapbooks. I assume this was a cute art project that they made. No, this is a company that makes these books for you. After you travel somewhere, you send them the pictures, you pay for the book, they send it to you so that you can put it up nicely on your shelf. You know how I discovered this? A number of people on Twitter, after this video started to go viral on Twitter, started calling this an undisclosed ad. And I thought, oh, everybody seems to be using the same vernacular. We're all using the same terms. But no, what's actually happening is they clicked, "I don't want to see more of this tweet," which is an option that you can do if something pops up on your timeline that you don't like. Politics, racing, video games, whatever. If there's too much of it on your timeline, you can click ignore this tweet and it'll show you less of it. But if you do that on an advertisement, it will specifically say, hey, what was wrong with this advertisement? Do you want to subscribe to Twitter Premium to get rid of advertisements like this? So you can tell apart organic pieces of content that have been posted on Twitter and posts that have specifically been paid for to show up as advertisements, except it doesn't show up as an advertisement. There's no little tag that says it's an ad or that this is a paid promotion or sponsored or any of that. It shows up by a big meme account posting big viral memes as they do every hour of every day. And only by clicking ignore this video did people realize, hey, this is actually something that has promotional funding behind it. People paid for this to be on my timeline. This is an advertisement for the thing that not only doesn't disclose that the entire point of this video is to advertise this little scrapbooking thing, but doesn't even disclose the fact that it is an ad on your timeline. There are people who are paying the stupid Elon Musk tax of $8 a month to get advertisement-free Twitter, getting this advertisement on their Twitter and only realizing it after clicking a few buttons to get it off of their timeline. What timeline are we in? This is not a new phenomena. Obviously, I did an entire video talking about the steak watermark, where people were posting old viral clips of streamers and just appending the steak watermark onto it. A lot of them didn't even come from Kick or Steak or anything. They just added the steak watermark because they get a kickback if they promote the website, but they don't like discern how you need to promote the website. They just want their name out there. So people just started regurgitating viral memes, viral clips over and over and over again, and adding the steak watermark in order to get more people. It took over the entire website in a hilarious way, to the point where people started to meme on it. Not only that, you guys remember WikiFeet? I mean, you know what WikiFeet is, right? It's the website that catalogs celebrities' feet for feet fetishists. There was a website that I think was called Feet Finder, something like that. It was supposed to be this amateur. It was like OnlyFans before OnlyFans took off. The idea was that you could post your feet and you could make money from posting your feet. I don't know if it was ever real because I never visited the website myself, but I know it by name because there were so many TikToks of people going, me buying a brand new Lamborghini because I just posted by just posting some feet pics. They would never say the website. They'd just be like, oh, don't need to worry about my rent this month just by posting some pictures of my toes. And everybody in the comments would be like, girl, what are you talking about posting pictures of your toes? And in their bio, feetpics.com, footfinder.com, wikifeet.com, whatever the website was. And this was like several years ago. This iteration of these undisclosed ads feel exactly like that. I think back then we didn't take it that seriously because it's a foot fetish website. Like, of course, nobody's gonna properly, hey guys, today's video is brought to you by footpics.net. Jerk off the toes using my discount link, right? But now that it's legitimate content, stuff that should have proper sponsorships to it, I really do think people should be taking this a little bit more seriously because, A, this is way illegal. Honestly, I don't know how much I can care about it because I don't take TikTok seriously at all, is honestly what it is. I don't take TikTok seriously at all. If you're the type of person who is getting baited into watching somebody reenact an AI-generated rage bait conversation with their boss to sell you sexual chocolates, I can't help you. That's the type of person you are. I can't wish for more from you. I'm sorry. I don't think you should be allowed to vote. But I do think this is an interesting new ground of advertisements that can only solely exist on short form content. You would not be able to get away with this on long form videos. This would not fly on YouTube. How many times have you seen somebody do an entire video talking about a camera, a computer? Hey guys, today we're going to be unboxing this chair. The comments will be flooded with, oh, so this entire video is just an ad? This whole video is just an ad? I've seen Jack Films get shit on his Yai videos when they have sponsorships in it because his videos are so short, they're like 3-4 minutes, and people are like, wow, dude, 30% of this video was an ad. It's like a legitimate sponsorship. People do, like, Linus Tech Tips does legitimate sponsorships all the time. The whole video will be sponsored by, like, AMD. And he'll do something sick. He'll build a cool computer. He'll test RAM. He'll put a new product to the test. And he'll have the product provided to him. And still people in the comments will be like, this is too close to a full-on endorsement by the company. This is too much of an ad for me to take this content seriously, despite the fact that those examples are legitimate. Hey, here's content. Here's me making something for you to watch that is cooler because of the money I got from this company. And like, that's the agreement. We're gonna make a better thing using this sponsorship. And people get upset about that on YouTube. Think about if somebody did an entire video that wasn't real, solely for the purpose. Think about somebody doing an entire road trip where the whole thing was sponsored by Mercedes, and they don't tell you shit about it. They don't tell you Mercedes gave them money, gave them the car for free, paid for the entire trip. The casual times that they mention, oh man, I love this car, the leather's so smooth, the engine's so smooth, and they never fucking mention that Mercedes paid for all of it, that would not fly on YouTube. But on TikTok, it's only 90 seconds. It's vertical. It's a silly little video on your phone. Who cares if they're violating the FCC guidelines? I think we should care. My weekend plans: Pedro Pascal, Baby Yoda, Jeremy Allen White. Don't bother me, I'll be at The Mandalorian and Grogu. Okay. This guy seems to be very interested in the new Star Wars franchise movie, and he's sharing it on TikTok. Nothing wrong with that. Here's another one. My weekend plans: Pedro Pascal, Baby Yoda, Jeremy Allen White, no kids, repeat. Don't bother me, I'll be at the Mandalorian and Grogu screening for the second and third time. This is pretty close to that first one. I guess it's a little bit different. Listen, maybe 2 people really enjoyed the new Mandalorian movie. I don't know. My weekend plans: Pedro Pascal, Baby Yoda, Jeremy Allen White, no kids, repeat. Don't bother me, I'll be at the Mandalorian and Grogu. I feel like I've heard that before. My weekend plans: Pedro Pascal, Baby Yoda. Man, everybody really seems to be liking the new Mandalorian movie. They seem to be enjoying the movie so much that they're all making TikToks that look exactly the same. It's almost like they were given a template that they needed to alter just a tiny bit, but they were all a little bit too lazy to alter it enough to make it not look like they were given a template to advertise the new movie. So clearly companies are learning that if an advertisement feels too much like an advertisement, people don't interact with it. They write it off, or they don't buy as much of the product. It is much more effective of a sales pitch to get somebody to look up your product on their own volition, and then you end up with a consumer base of people that are genuinely interested in your product in one way or another. The best advertising is basically no advertising. Just say the word spicy cube, and the people go, what's that? I've never heard of that. They Google it on themselves, they search it up, and now apparently there's a higher likelihood of them actually purchasing your thing. I don't know. Not really my cup of tea, but it seems as though the way that they want to go about trying to get these advertisements in front of people is like subliminal messaging, is like just quickly flashing it in the middle of an otherwise normal seeming piece of content. Here's a 2-minute video that I found on Twitter that is supposedly a girl that is catching her husband having cheated on her. And it's got drama. He throws shit at her. She's like telling him to pack up his stuff and leave. And the only place you see the advertisement is for a split second when she says, "I caught you texting blah, blah, blah." This image comes up on what is cheaterbuster.com, which I haven't looked into, but I can only assume is a place where people report infidelity. If you find a guy who states he has a wife or girlfriend, you can take his profile picture from Tinder or Facebook or Grindr and then post it there to say, hey, this person's cheating, and then other people can look them up to see if their spouses are being unfaithful to them. This exists for half a second in a skit that I can only imagine is yet again being put together for no reason other than to entice you into watching what you think is marital disputes, just to sell you on a website to find out if your girlfriend is cheating. Brother, I will save you the sign-up fee. If you're going to go to a website to see if she is, she might as well be. Go find someone else. Last thing I want to touch on is just how sort of reverse psychological horror this becomes when you think about just how easy it is. I hope in watching this video, you guys have had a few moments where you've been like, wait a second, I feel like I have seen some of these undisclosed ads and I didn't even realize it, because that's how I felt when I started looking into this, right? I saw this post by Team Liquid. It's an esports company posting this meme. I see these memes everywhere. It's Polymarket, you know, the prediction market website that has seemingly infiltrated the US government and whatever else. Long story, different thing, not something I'm going to cover. But people post these memes where they post a prediction market from Polymarket. How likely will it be that this happens, that happens? And it's genuinely unlikely stuff that's like, it's pop culture memes. They're like making little jokes. Will TSM win Worlds? Big meme. They're definitely not going to. Will Jinxie save League of Legends? Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's co-streaming Worlds. Exciting, whatever. If you don't understand any of this, it's a meme that this esports company made. Except it's not. Except there is a fucking community note on this that says this is an undisclosed Polymarket advertisement, which is a violation of the FTC's disclosure guidelines. These guys were paid by Polymarket to make one of these Polymarket memes about the prediction markets, about 50% likely, 40% unlikely. I saw one about clavicular ending up pregnant at the end of 2026. I thought these guys were just making funnies, making jokes since Polymarket's in the news and stuff. No, Polymarket's been paying some of these people to make these memes to get more people to talk about Polymarket. What? Just to clarify, when I say undisclosed ad in talking about Twitter, I'm saying that they paid money to have their tweet go out to more people. And people are calling that an undisclosed ad. You can just take a tweet that you think is hilarious and throw $500 at it so that more people see it. You know, you could do that, and that's not really an ad, right? But you are paying to promote that tweet, and people are sort of conflating those two things. The undisclosed ads are everything that we've talked about so far. It is possible that perhaps Team Liquid just decided to pay money on this particular tweet to get more people to see it, but you know, you can probably connect the dots and see that the reason they might want to do that, if that is even the case, would be because it's important that this tweet gets a lot of likes. Why would it be important that this seemingly otherwise not related to anything you've talked about meme gets a lot of likes? Maybe because Polymarket wants to make sure it gets a minimum amount of likes, or you're not going to get paid by Polymarket for your undisclosed ad that you made. I started this video by talking about pop-up blockers and sponsor block and stuff because I've had this conversation with a lot of people that are very pro ad block in not being advertised to, wanting to block everything from pop-up ads to sponsorships to even clickbait thumbnails and what have you. And I've never really wanted to take the hard stance against ad blockers because I use them. It's impossible to browse the internet or even watch YouTube videos, Twitch streams if they have advertisements. I am very much of the opinion that paying for YouTube Premium and Twitch Turbo is worth it if you watch them for several hours a day the way that I do. Not everybody agrees / not everybody has money. That's fine. I cannot help but feel like a big, deep-rooted reason that I've always been a little bit hesitant to completely embrace ad blockers is because I had a feeling that something like this was going to happen. Ad ad blockers and advertisers are a cat and mouse game, right? They started with pop-up ads, and then people started blocking pop-up ads. And then they started doing sidebar ads that were part of the website that didn't pop up in their own window. And then people started blocking those. And then they started doing embedded ads. And then they started doing embedded this and embedded that. There's always going to be another thing that's going to come along. And while it's not like you should just give up and let the corporate overlords, you know, pump whatever product they want to directly into your eyeballs, it is like, eventually it's going to get to a point where it's going to get really fucking hard to start fighting it, and that might start inevitably end up making the content worse. And that's where I'm worried we're starting to get to at this point. Not only is there no content when it comes to some of these TikToks, it is just ad from beginning to end, and they're just hiding it to the best of their ability. But some of these memes aren't even memes. You're telling me somebody could send me an image macro and I might laugh at something completely unaware that its sole existence is there in order to try to take my money. That's crazy. That's crazy. In any regard, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Remember to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'm being very upfront. This is not undisclosed. I did make this video just to get more subscribers. That is a disclosed ad. That is totally kosher. You should also hit the like button, and I will catch you next week. Shpisu.